The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Virtuosos podcast. We are in a new building. It's bittersweet to obviously leave the old building and obviously all the memories that we made. But the good news is we got more opportunity, more space to do different things, and I obviously can't wait to see what we can possibly do with different camera angles in terms of like lighting and everything. It's gonna be big time for us. I mean, obviously it's been a cold period for like movies and whatnot, so it doesn't help that we are, I guess, lacking a little bit in the movie department. But where we lack is where we figure out who we really are, and obviously want to be as creative as possible. So this is a time where we want you guys to obviously be patient and really be, keep an eye out for the things that we can do and will be doing. Obviously, we got a lot of things coming. But before we get into the potatoes and the meat, speaking of meat, Damien, don't play with your meat, man. Emerge, when we went over, we started, it was me and you in my apartment with a phone on a tripod, and
we were misrecording episodes,
fucking
couldn't
up
hear it half
episodes
the
and shit. Couldn't do shit, like literally the worst of the worst, obviously. So Emerge was a blessing to us, but that was what, 2-month period.
Yeah,
wasn't
we
too
were
much,
we were in your apartment May.
Actually, no.
3 months.
3 months,
we'd have been. And May 25th was the first episode, and we were there till the first week of September.
Yeah. So obviously we had some time before even Damon came on, and then dude obviously thought he had to get a tattoo the day that Damon came on. So I thought it was beef. So I didn't know if they was gonna work out.
Kind of was.
Now that we all here, it's a blessing. Obviously, we just want to reminisce real quick. We'll start with you, Damon. What was your favorite Emerge, OG Emerge moment?
The one that always, gonna feel
here you
special
go,
to the
bro.
heart was the first episode. I will say that, you know what I'm saying? Again, I thought me and Dame had beef till he gave me that Gordon Hayward jump shot. He's cool again. But the High School Musical one, gotta talk about it. I didn't know he was that big of a fan.
Nobody knew he was that big of a fan.
I thought you knew. I thought I was the last one to
know.
find out.
I
I
didn't
thought I was the
know.
last one to find out. I thought you was there type shit.
He was like, he said sing 17 High School Musical songs. I'm like, it's only 16. He's like, exactly. I'm like, what? So I wasn't invited.
I had a
I had to
director's
go with
cut.
that one. Some of the quizzes was fun that we did, especially the Michael Irvin, Kevin McHale one, pretty funny.
Yeah, two former MVPs in their respective sports. Depends who you ask, I guess. It could be, literally ask anybody. I don't think they'll.
MVPs of their fan base, man.
And then I'll probably say the reactions too. I'll put the reactions up there we did, especially that first half of Invincible was fire.
Yeah, it was
finished
very
Loki.
fun.
So I would probably say those are my favorite moments. So that's
For
what
you,
I'll go with.
Damien. And so we obviously got, time where it was me and you and Damon. Obviously, you and Damon had a lot of time together. So I mean, obviously, I might not have been there. So
We had some good moments at the old one. I remember our first episode in Emerge when we had Mike on.
Oh yeah,
And Mike was making some horrible football predictions.
like
I don't think any of them shits hit, if I'm being honest.
well,
He said the Jets were going to be horrible, which he got lucky because Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
yeah, but he also said they were gonna finish third. And they were projected to finish third.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not a hot take. I'm like, like hot enough.
It's lukewarm. So that was fun. Obviously, Mike had been there for a while before we had gotten in there. And then Damon already brought it up. The quiz episodes, man, were hilarious. Damon had some crazy guesses. It's the reason I'm up 3-1.
Very good reason.
But he be trying, though, and that's all that matters. Other moments. I mean, that was a crazy stretch. I almost kind of forgot about the fact that me and Damon went for like a month.
Yeah,
Like,
I,
when
I was out because I
And
was.
Damon was hosting that shit, and that was really those episodes were fun, but they were structured so weird because we just didn't know how to structure
We
it.
was just
So like,
rambling.
we was really
Hard.
gotten on
Yeah,
here
it's
and just
hard.
rambling.
It's
Had
hard with two
Mercedes
people.
on there.
It's hard with two people.
Mercedes getting on there. She don't know how to talk half the time. She just rambling. Oh man, I'm gonna miss the whole place, but it is cool, like you said. to see like I'm this is my first time seeing it today, and like just seeing how much possibilities they have with this area. You know what I'm saying? We could really do a lot with this podcast now.
Yeah.
Even more than before.
Yeah. So obviously, like I say, like be patient. Obviously, like we want to get a lot of different like look and feel to the podcast, but we're still here. We're still the same voices. Obviously, we're gonna still have a lot of fresh ideas coming.
I'm different now.
my aura up after I listen to Euphoria. But not to be corny, but speaking of Euphoria,
All right, bro.
Me and you, we went to go see Challengers. Obviously, the preview did very well because obviously people didn't see Zendaya like that. Obviously, besides Euphoria, and like her having more edgier, and I would say more real role. Like she wasn't in like like the good girl. Obviously,
Or some fantasy movie.
You know what I'm saying? Some bullshit. Obviously, you wanted to see something different out of her, and it wasn't no shake it up shit. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no. It was some real
Yeah,
shit.
it was some real. That was a very
shit.
probably. I would say it's probably the most adult role she's done. Because even in Euphoria, I mean, yeah, like
She's still playing what? High school student?
Yeah, So Euphoria was like their high school age, even though they act like they're in their mid-20s.
Yeah.
And I mean that was a pretty big role for her. I mean, because it's a pretty dark subject matter for her character in that show. But I feel like this was definitely probably her most adult role as far as how she acts and the subject matter that they deal with in the movie.
Because when I first like wanted to see, obviously, because I'm a tennis fan, so like I was really hyped to see a movie I see made about tennis. Like saying it's really different, but one of the first things I said to you was like they're very accurate with like the tours that they mentioned, and obviously they kept it on the U.S. side. They didn't want to go obviously too much to the international side because that's not where they obviously.
This movie also strictly takes place in 2019, which I think is hilarious because they're basically like, yeah, COVID didn't affect these players.
Yeah,
like this movie goes from like 06 to 2019, and then 2019 is the end of it, right?
Yeah,
there.
that's
they will not let COVID affect their primes.
So basically, movie about two guys who were. We obviously don't get this clarity, but they were former doubles champions. They were former junior doubles champions at the U.S. Open, which is a huge deal. That's when you really find out who can potentially be a former star in the sport, or a future star, I'm sorry, in the sport. But they meet Tashi Duncan, who was played by Zendaya, obviously. The prodigy, she's obviously in the trailer. She's playing. You can tell she's good. She's very passionate. And the whole story is based off her having an injury. Now, the build to the injury was very, very good. It didn't just happen. And I'm like, all right, this is where she tears ace. No, she just kills the girl. She beats her. A lot of things happen, but a traumatic event, I should say, where her ego got destroyed by one of the doubles players. What was his name again? I forgot. Patrick. Yeah, Patrick Zweig. I think it was his name. He destroys the ego. Said, "I'm not one of your Tashi Duncan fan clubs."
I'm not your fan.
He said, "I don't walk around here call myself the Duncanator."
Yeah, exactly. I'm your peer. You're not above me.
And she didn't like that, obviously, and for good reasons. I mean, because she feels like if you're with me, you should be my fan, obviously. But you look at me as your equal when we're not equal. You know what I'm saying? I have the brand deal. I have this, and like I get why she would feel that way, but I get why he feels the same way too. So
especially because they're together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, obviously you could be a fan of your significant other, but at the end of the day, if she's flaunting it in your face every single time,
throw it in my face.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because she basically said, like, you're bad. You're not good at tennis.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, that's kind of like their whole dynamic is that she puts so much passion in the game, and he loves tennis, but he doesn't work at it.
Yeah.
She literally says it to his face. She's like, how far is coasting on talent getting you?
Yep.
Because he mocks
that's where they got to.
Yeah, he mocks her because she's doing yoga and she's doing all this stuff to feel better before her match. And he mocks her and he was like, no, he's like, I don't need to do that. And she's like, yeah, well, how's coasting on talent getting you? He ain't won in the from how they talk about it, he ain't won in the majors since he went pro.
Yeah,
or if he had, it's been a while.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like he barely won, I should say. That he doesn't do well. He hasn't done well. But the main thing, and obviously where the dynamic comes from, is their first ever conversation with Tashi Duncan and Alex, I think his name was. Art. I'm sorry, Art
Donaldson.
Something long ass last name.
It's Art Donaldson and Patrick Swag.
So Art and Donald. Art is the more passionate one. He works hard. He knows he's not as good or as talented, but he works hard as hell. He works on his form, and one of the main things was that Art is going to Stanford. He already has a Stanford shirt on. He knows where he's going. He has his path set out. And Patrick is, he's nonchalant. He doesn't care. He'll go pro as soon as he can, which he did. Art decided to go to Stanford, which ironically Tashi Duncan was also going to Stanford. And the first conversation that they have, Patrick is like, why don't you just go pro instead of just beating up on college kids, Tatashi Duncan? And Art doesn't find a problem with it. He says there's nothing wrong with it. It's smart.
And
to
she
do
also
that.
makes a good point though. She's like, I don't want to be just somebody that's just good at hitting the ball with a racket.
Yep.
Like I could have more skills than just this one.
Yep. And that was like the main conversation that obviously set them two apart, because obviously they were good. They were great together. They were good friends, and you could tell that most of their friendship based off tennis more than about them knowing each other. Obviously, so fast forward throughout the years, they stopped being friends. Obviously, because Tashi Duncan gets in between them. They both wanted her. That never ends well. And when she tore her knee up because Patrick destroyed her ego, Art's pissed off because Patrick is trying to come into the room and he yells like, "Get the fuck out!" And that was, I'm assuming, the last ever time that they spoke.
Yeah, until we get to the
obviously
present
we get to the present. And the whole dynamic is that, like I said, Patrick being a nonchalant, really don't care, just coasting by in life. He's basically seems like he's homeless. He's living out his car.
But it's interesting too, because we do get that bit of exposition towards the end where you find out that he doesn't have to live like that.
Yeah.
His family are like on a board of like some big company. Like his family's rich. He just chooses to live that way because he wants to still think he's good at tennis.
Yep. And now he's starting to realize that, like, if he could just have one run, that's something that he always wanted but never realized until too late. It was too late.
Right.
And obviously Tashi still feels the same way about him. She still has feeling. I wouldn't say she loves him, but she still has feelings for him, which that's not real love, but still has feelings for him, even though she's married to Art, which is obviously a weird dynamic because her and Art never really got along ever, or never had any real energy towards each other.
It feels like they only really liked each other in the beginning, or like when they first get together. But then you could always feel like the attraction to Patrick was more natural than it was to Art. Even though she always talks up Art, she never spoke bad about Art, which was the thing. She was like, to Patrick's face, say to, like, when they were like right before she gets hurt, she literally talks about how she thinks that Art's attractive and that he's smart, and like she says all this to his face.
Yeah, while they're kissing.
And like really tells him she's like you play tennis the same way. She's like you think about the long, you don't think about the long game. Like you're quick and to the point, and like that's crazy to say to his face about his best friend.
Considering she played the long game, she realized who she could control. Once she tore her knee, her whole perspective changed. It was win by being on the team of a winner.
Yep.
Obviously, coaching, quote unquote, a winner. And obviously, we don't see the coaching aspect of her like bringing up Art, obviously, but Art has. And he mentions it later in the movie that he's playing for the both of them. He has two of everything besides U.S. Open.
Yeah, so what is
Wimbledon, French Open, Australian Open, and then U.S. Open.
But he wants two of everything, but he never wins the U.S.
And it was like funny dynamic when he said, "I'm playing for the both of us," and like you don't realize it until he says that. Like, damn, he does have two of everything to basically help her live through her legacy. And obviously, a lot of his, fame comes from her being Tashi Duncan instead of him being a really
It's not
good
even
tennis
just
player.
even though he should have it on his own. Her name value alone from what she was back in the day helps him.
And so we obviously get through, to the point where Art needs some confidence. So she sends him obviously to the Challenger.
And this is in New Rochelle, which I don't know where that's at.
I think it's in that, not Atlanta. I'm sorry. There is another tour in Atlanta they talk about, but it's
that's the one that in the flashback. But
it was windy as shit, so I know it can't be perfect there. It's a very seasonal type of tournament. So obviously all that happens where there are New Rochelle.
Oh, it's in New York.
It's in New York. Okay, that makes sense. So because the U.S. Open's in New York, so they like follow up with that. So the point is, she wants him to build himself up so he can win this U.S. Open. That's the whole point. And Art is convinced that Tashi Duncan, which is his wife, doesn't do this out of love. She does this out of embarrassment. Like she wants him to, like, get a pity win and then go to U.S. Open and what's the odds of him
he thinks the
winning?
whole time that she's trying to embarrass him by making him play in this challenger and do all this, even though she isn't doing it from like a place of malice. She really is being like, listen, you need to get some confidence or you're gonna get whooped at the U.S. Open. Like you're not gonna last in the real tournament.
She's very honest. Outside, I get like the character herself is very honest. So she's never told a lie, really, like about tennis. You know what I'm saying? She's very, very, very educated about tennis. But the problem is that she obviously feels like if she's the coach, she's in control. It's not like, well, she's the coach, she's allowing Art to manipulate, but manage and maneuver through however way he wants to maneuver. And Patrick brings up another good point. He was like, if Art retires tomorrow, what do you have? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's nothing to you but a tennis player. And obviously all this stuff is sticking with Tashi because this is real. Patrick always has seen through her. So like everything he says gets to her very, very bad. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't, it's like a thing where it bothers her, but she knows it's real, and that's out of love, not out of, you know what I'm saying, like, somebody being a yes man or yes woman next to her, obviously, because it's Tashi Duncan, again, a former prodigy. So obviously the dynamic between Patrick and Art comes to a head because they play obviously in the final of the Challenger. Why wouldn't they?
Which they also, which the whole movie they're like, no, there's no way they match up. And then
The thing is, like, obviously Patrick is gonna take a fall somewhere so he gets more money. Obviously, that's the whole point. Like, just to get money to make it by, living paycheck to paycheck. But once everything that they talk about, from the point where Art is a hothead, not really I would say a hothead, more or less, like, he has bad confidence. He's very shaken. He's always visibly angry if he's messing up because his hard work doesn't always pay off because he doesn't have the talent to match it. While the other side is Patrick, who laughs and smiles and does all these trick shots.
It's just a game.
Yeah, it's literally just a game to him. So Patrick dominates the first set because he's talented. He should. He's not breathing hard. He hasn't gone through anything. He's not weathering the storm. And in the second set, like Tashi says, you start falling apart. And Patrick falls apart. He finally shows a little bit of passion, which he never showed throughout the entire movie. He's raging. He breaks his racket, which he hints at that he's going to break a racket and give it to the hotel lady or motel lady, whatever.
Yep.
So after that, obviously, in the third set, they're going. Like they said, they're doing like flashbacks in between everything. So I think it got to 5-5 in the second. No, the third set. It got to 5-5, and Zendaya can't even watch. Tashi Duncan can't even watch because what she did was she left out of her hotel to go talk to Patrick and ask him to throw the game.
And not just left out of the hotel. This was like a big conversation point for Art.
It was, yeah.
Where he literally grovels to her and he's like, "Listen, like, what happens if I lose to Patrick tomorrow? Like, are you still gonna love me if I lose to Patrick?"
Yep. And that was the big question. Is like, if I'm a loser this my entire life, if nothing ever happens, and she never
answers
ever in the movie ever said that she loved him ever.
Yeah. Like, he even says, "I love you" early in the movie. And she says, "I know." So it's like, he has this big conversation with her, and he's like, hold me till I fall asleep, and like, this is a big thing for him. He wants to retire. He doesn't want to play tennis anymore. He makes a good point. He knows when it's time to hang it up. He doesn't want to keep playing because it's embarrassing to play at this older age and know that you don't have it anymore.
Yep. So he was very worried about that, and obviously it started eating at him because she thought that Patrick was eating at him. It's not. It was never about. It was never about that, and that's why
it's about their relationship.
And then you really don't realize that until it gets too late. You're like, damn, he never really cared about Patrick. He cares about his wife, his family, and obviously, I did say this during the movie. I wish it was aftermath. I wish it was a show because the slow burn was very, very good. But I feel like obviously it was more to explore. Like his recovery, they never talk about his injury, which I didn't mention it because they don't really talk about it.
They only mention that he has a good recovery. They never say what happened or anything.
So once during this, she goes to Patrick and she convinces him, and during the conversation, Patrick said, like, "You'd fuck me if it meant that he won," and she said that's what it takes. But she says it in a way where, like, she's not serious, but she literally will do whatever it takes to.
And the thing that sucks about the whole situation too is that Patrick very clearly doesn't want to do it. Like, he literally says that she's like horrible person because it's worse. It would be better if you cheated on him than to get me to lose.
Yeah,
like
that's this is way worse because Art doesn't care about, like, they're basically they're as miserable as possible. Yeah, there's no recovering. They're basically, in a matter of time they're gonna divorce. Obviously, like, it's bound to happen. He's very aware that she doesn't love him. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though he needs to ask, he just needs that final confirmation that she doesn't. And when she leaves out, and obviously they do have sex, he does cheat on him for another time, obviously, because she cheated on him again in Atlanta.
Like 2011 in Atlanta.
Because he mentioned, does he know about Atlanta?
Yep.
And she was very shaken about that because they kissed in Atlanta or whatever during one of his tours, obviously. So they're in this matchup, and it was a callback to a very earlier point. And when Patrick first got with Tashi, Art is like very, very intrigued about them at first. This is when he really did care about her a lot. He said, serve like me if you slept together. He said, you're not telling me, you'll just do it.
Yeah, you just do the thing.
When when Art serves, he puts the ball between, like, the racket. It like has like this triangle, and then it goes to the racket. He puts the ball like right there, and then that's like his tick. Obviously, everybody has a tick for when they serve. Like everybody does the same thing every time. While Patrick, he serves, he like goes behind his head, and then he hits it. It's like, and they always call it a childish serve because he can do it because he's a great tennis player. While Art, he does the same thing every time. He's perfect. He does, like I'm saying, he tries to do everything right through hard work. So he does it when they're playing around, and then Art realizes that they slept together. But it it bothers him very badly. He's very shaken.
He verbally says like "fuck off," which gets him a penalty.
Yep. So when he does it, I called it. I was like, he's gonna serve like him to prove that. So that and that's an unspoken communication because you can obviously fucked your wife over that.
And Tashi doesn't know what it means.
Yeah, that's a point penalty. Obviously, I already had one early in the game because he was visibly upset, and Tashi doesn't know what's going on. So then Art's upset. Like he has a moment where he doesn't even play. He gets into the tie break, and then the tie break happens, and Art serve, and he just kills the ball, tries to hit him in the face, and he misses him. And then Patrick looks at him, and Patrick smirks as he's smirked the entire movie. And then Art smiled back at him, and then they finally played a tennis match where they both competed just for the sake of tennis. Yep. They never had it was always about Tashi, now it's just about tennis. And Tashi still doesn't know what's going on, and they're going back and forth. They have a battle at the net. They rally. Patrick jumps up to spike a tennis ball. Never seen nobody jump in tennis in general. I'm sorry, Art and Patrick's like looking up, and I thought he was.
He really gets high as hell.
He gets high. Crazy. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. It literally doesn't have. Nobody jumps that high ever seen. But he jumps high as shit. He like clears the net, but he trips over it, and Patrick saves him, and they hug it out, and
it literally ends with Tashi screaming, like, "Oh, come on!"
The crowd is clapping. They obviously can tell that like they just had a moment, and Tashi's like screaming out top, like, "Come on!" Like she wants to see them compete, and that's always been her thing. She wants to see them.
She just wants good
compete.
tennis. She doesn't care about their feelings at all. She just wants good tennis.
Yep, she just cares about tennis, and that's basically where the line is drawn right there. Like,
and I will say the end of the movie, like the way it's shot and the soundtrack goes so crazy because they put you in the perspective of the tennis ball. So you're literally going back and forth. It's like, like the way that it's shot is very cool because you're literally like you're the tennis ball getting hit back and forth. The Challenger soundtrack is very good. So like whenever like they have like their song that plays, it's a very cool like way to end the movie.
And it's crazy because based off the title, I thought it would be about a challenger, like a challenger.
I didn't know what it was
because that's basically where lower tier player. I didn't know he won Grand Slams or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
the trailer never gives you any of the vibes that you get once you watch.
You know, that's why
they hide everything very well.
I try to tell everybody. Like, that shit has nothing. Don't even worry about the trailer anymore. Obviously, like there's a key moment where obviously they're kissing on her and whatnot. Like that's a key moment. Everything else is like
they don't show you anything important.
Yeah, you don't figure it out. But for me, I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
Zendaya fucking killed it. She was great.
They were all very good. I didn't have a problem with any of the actors. I thought the character dynamics were very well done.
It was
especially
perfect.
Art and Patrick's dynamic, I thought was probably the most compelling one.
Yeah.
Just because this whole I said it early on in the movie. I was like, these dudes are definitely like each other. Like these dudes are so obviously like they're straight, quote unquote. But it's so clear there's something more there.
Yeah.
And then as the movie goes on, you're like, oh, that's so damn obvious.
Yeah.
And it starts to come out very quickly.
After all, I was like, Patrick, he's so gay.
Yeah.
He can't admit it, but he's so gay.
Bro, like I feel like I got literally from the moment the movie started, I was like, bro, there's something off about it.
And there's nothing wrong with him being gay, but he just can't. I would say he can't accept
and
it. I'm sure he's dabbled in that throughout the years.
Yeah, and there's very subtle hints to it too. Like obviously, like
his Tinder is based on is bisexual. Like,
he literally swipes through and he sees a dude and he hesitates to
like
skip
he's spamming through the women. So you see the dude, he stops and is like,
and then he finally goes through again. Yeah. So like I got that, and it's kind of like one of those things where like Patrick is in love with Art. And Art is in love with Tashi, but Tashi don't love either one of them. Yeah, she just wants tennis.
Yep, and that was a main thing earlier too when Art says he doesn't love you, he's not in love with you, and she said, "What makes you think I want somebody to be in love with me?"
Yeah,
I was like, "Damn, typical woman." Typical. That's what she played. It was like just be a woman, and then that's how she.
Yeah, she definitely did a very good job. Zendaya is definitely obviously the biggest part of the movie. She probably does the best of the three, but I had no issues with any of them. They all played their roles very well. And it felt like a very real movie. Like I said, it felt like a very real story. Yeah. If I'm being honest with you, like it's not, and I think it's like a very relatable thing. Like I said, like it's like love triangles like that are always obviously very interesting, but I don't think they're ever really done in the way that this movie shows it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they did. Like I said, if it was a show, like this would have been one of the best shows of the year.
And it would have been like a perfect limited series.
Yeah,
like I gave that shit like 12 episodes.
Yeah, they really could have. Like it played through each round and whatnot and all that. I think it would have been really, really good if they went that route.
And I'm glad that it lived up to the hype because I know like going into it, I saw only good reviews. I never saw anything bad about it, but I was like, you know how you got to take everything with a grain of salt nowadays. Yeah. I'm like, please, I hope I don't. Go
I seen a bunch of 9 out of 10s, like 4 out of 5. Yeah, say 4.5 out of 5 and stuff like that. Like stuff like that. Like I've seen a lot of good stuff. Rotten Tomatoes has an 89%. Which I agree with. I had a 9.9. Yeah,
it's definitely very good. Like I definitely would recommend anybody watch it. It's definitely like very art house kind of movie. It kind of has that vibe of like an A24 or like any like the
it gave me A24 vibes.
Yeah,
it
like
it really
definitely feels like it's the way that's shot, the color grading and all that. But it's definitely worth the watch. It's very fun.
I'm gonna read a couple reviews real quick because it's some bad ones. First time I ever walked out of a movie. I couldn't stop cringing whenever Patrick showed up in a movie. I just stopped watching it mid-movie.
Okay, so you don't like the movie. You don't just like the movie. You just don't like the actor.
Yeah. Let's see another one. I could not get into the movie because I had no tickets confirmation from Fandango. Thanks. I read that when I was like read all. It was like jumped around too much, didn't understand the ending. I didn't get to watch it one time. Like people are funny, but
people leaving bad reviews because that Fandango messed them up.
Like, that's funny, but there's a lot of 5 stars in here, like really in depth 5-star reviews. Like this one's a show more. I'm not reading everything, obviously, but somebody said unlikable characters and a choppy storyline makes for a mess of a movie. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else, obviously, people perceive the movie different, but it's funny seeing how people do react to certain things. Obviously. Right. Obviously, the Fandango blame.
I had a feeling that would probably be somebody's biggest complaint is the back and forth time jumps. But
yeah, they could.
The movie does a very good, but the movie does a good enough job. I feel like of explaining when the time jumps.
I feel like you're not. I'm never confused. I was
definitely never confused. You know,
the only thing we got confused about obviously was like her when she came back. We thought it was like the end. The beginning was the end.
Yeah,
like, that's the only thing. And like it did. It had the very close vibe to it, obviously, but. For me,
I didn't realize until after the movie ended. The beginning of the movie is when he goes to play at the bigger tournament.
Yeah,
he loses to that dude, and that's when she tells him, "Okay, yeah, we got to go do a challenger."
Yeah. So I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's definitely a good movie. I'd like to see Zendaya in more roles like that. Like I wouldn't even say she was a bad guy in the movie. She just of this story, she was the least a good character.
Yeah, like I said, like everybody has their own way of viewing it. Obviously, like. From a man's perspective, like we're gonna sympathize more with Art or Patrick, and I can see a woman being like, "Well, we settle, and that's the case, and now like we have to deal with, I'm saying, the consequences of him not being good enough, or I had to build him up. When's he gonna build me up? Things like that." So it was a very good dynamic, and I was like, we were stuck between Challengers and Civil War. Chose the more recent movie. So we still heard good things about Civil War.
I'm gonna watch it. I'll definitely be able to watch it at some point.
Yeah, I still want to.
I definitely don't regret going to see Challengers.
Though. Yeah, I don't either. That was very, very good. Damon. So make sure you're still alive, man.
sorry for shutting you out for the last 20 minutes.
I'm taking in the data. I'm about to take in the I thought it was a show. I ain't gonna lie.
I wish it was. I wish it was a show, man. It was very. I'm telling you, because the character dynamic was so well done that you could have stretched that over 8, 10, 12 episodes, whatever, and it would have been perfect. Now, from the point they were juniors to that match, obviously, we didn't get that, but. Hey, I'm not too mad about.
I think the only thing the show really
2 hour 10-minute movie.
Yeah, for sure. I think the only thing the show really could have done was probably just more so explore their background.
Yeah, and get more into the tennis dynamic and why they are the way they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
The fire and ice thing, and Tashi, and how she becomes a prodigy and all that.
Yeah, obviously we want to see more Zendaya roles, but like I said, I was like, she need to play Black Cat instead of MJ.
Recast MJ, please.
Give me Black Cat at this point. She's very, very talented, and she's clearly one of the best actresses in the world right now. But to get into our next segment, NFL Draft has come and gone. Obviously, last week I was trolling y'all a little bit. Not really. I was very serious. That y'all, you was gonna get Drake May. I'm not Drake May. JJ McCarthy. And you'll get Xavier Worthy. Obviously, both those things didn't happen. We'll start with you, Damon. How'd you feel about y'all draft in general?
I liked it. Only drafted one defensive player.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's hard to miss on 6 offensive players. You know what I mean? In the draft, I mean, you go over 6. You know what I mean? Then we got.
Y'all missed on y'all second round pick, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I fought through the draft. It wasn't a pick that I was like mad about. I would say I wanted a Donnie Mitchell at 37, but I had to, lock in, really look at it. You know what I'm saying? I guess we got that at home. I guess we got Taekwondo Thorne at home. You know what I'm saying? It's cool, I guess. You know what I mean?
That's really how people was acting, though.
I guess, tall, fast guy.
Everybody's like, we already got like a 6, like, are they good though? Like, I don't know anybody good like over 6'1" in the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's rare you get a good player that big.
But I'm actually shocked we got Javon Baker too. I thought we was gonna just draft Polk and be straight at wide receiver, but I guess the more wide receivers, the better. I think we got like 11 wide receivers on the roster now.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess we have a.
Are you telling me that Keyshawn Boutte is done for?
Nah, him and Tusi just was arguing on Sauce Gardner's live the other day.
So he's done for.
Locked in. Nah, Keyshawn's locked in, bro. He said he locked in, bro. He said he been training. I don't know if he's training for fighting or football
betting.
or gambling. I don't know, but
iron sharpen iron though. I know that.
You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean. I'm definitely excited. I would tell people like this summer with basketball and football, bro. This off seasons, like I can't wait for it, man. Honestly, so I'm cool with our draft, to be honest.
For you, Davian, last year didn't have first round pick, obviously, so different kind of hype this year. What was your favorite pick for your team?
I didn't mind the Chop Robinson pick. I just didn't think that's the route we were gonna go.
We were shocked.
Yeah, I was very shocked. I think he's a good prospect. I don't have any issues with him, but it just, I mean, I guess it makes sense now when you look back on it and what our pass rush looked like going into the playoffs. Bruce Irvin, Melvin Ingram, Julius Houston.
I was in there like what you about to hit? You can't.
So,
you
like,
don't look ready.
I get it. And we went. Probably the press for a couple times. I'd say my favorite pick in our draft, honestly, was probably either Jalen Wright or Mo Kamara. The Mo Kamara pick, I really didn't know too much about him, but I started doing a little bit more research, and the way that everybody talks about him, this is a top 100 prospect. I thought it was in the 5th.
Yeah.
He had 30 sacks the last 3 seasons, 13 last year at Colorado State. It seemed kind of like a steal to get in the 5th round. I mean, obviously, 5th round players are kind of at that point, you're taking swings. But I'd probably say Jalen Wright for sure. People seem to make it seem like it was a weird pick because our running back room's so good. Is it though?
But to me, this is how I look at it, and a lot of people might interpret it different. But like people, that's just an insurance for HN.
Yeah,
like,
that's what.
Let's say like him putting on muscle actually destroys his body,
Yeah.
and like it hurts his knees a little bit more. Like Jalen Wright's been running at this weight for the last 2-3 years,
and he doesn't have any mileage on him.
Yeah.
He only carried the ball like in college, like 230 something times. Like he didn't have a crazy amount of mileage on him, and people like seem to think like, okay, Moser had 20 touchdowns last year, but he's 32. I mean, at some point he's going to slow down.
Yeah.
And you know,
the odds of him slowing down are very.
And I'd almost rather them not run Achane like a bell horse back and sub in Jalen Wright half and half and do it like that. If it keeps Achane healthy.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is insurance for Achane. It's like, all right, maybe he don't have to be that guy to carry the ball.
He don't got to carry the ball 20 times a game. If Achane touches the ball 10 to 15 times a game, that's perfect.
Yeah,
because he has the speed to do anything.
Because he averages 7 yards a game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So if he carries about 10 times for 70 yards, I mean that's still that's a very, very positive game.
Exactly. It's like, so I don't mind any of that. I know some people talked about like how the wide receivers he drafted. I don't know anything about Malik. I mean, I said something about Malik Washington beforehand, like, but we drafted like Taj Washington or whatever from USC. I don't know him.
Yeah, I know. Malik Washington had a lot of buzz.
Yeah,
he had a lot of buzz for like everybody was gonna be day 3.
Yeah,
but like they knew that like he wasn't gonna go high, obviously, because.
And Mike McDaniel seemed very happy that he got to us in that round. He made the call very quick, and I mean, I could see him getting playtime very early.
I feel like he's gonna. Like I said, like when you think about situations like wide receivers, like who landed in the best situation, Malik Washington isn't that top 5 for me.
Absolutely.
Like he's gonna get us he's gonna get time,
and he's like the perfect slot build. I mean, like, and that's what we need. Yeah. We need somebody to play that because right now our wide receiver 3s are just a bunch of just rotational guys.
Bunch of ushers.
Yeah, exactly.
Bunch of
River
Begoses.
Craycraft and Jackson Berrios. Like, I mean, nothing against them. They're solid, but they're not every down wide receiver 3s. You know. So
he's got Persky at slot.
I think the only question mark I had for our draft was the tackle we took in the second, because I really didn't know anything about him. I know some people said that he was supposed to be like a first round pick, and then he fell down. Patrick Paul. He's like 6. He's from Houston. He's like 6'8", 330, big guy. But they said he's like his mechanics got to be rebuilt from the ground up. So it sounds like an Austin Jackson pick. Yeah. Where Austin Jackson didn't get good till his 3rd year.
And it's like, we got 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. He's supposed to be Teron Armstead's fucking replacement. But it's like, Tron Armstead might play one more season.
Yeah, so he better be ready next
So he
year.
better be ready. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, Charles Robinson did shock both of us. Like, I like the athlete, I like the prospect. So it's like pick the prospect that you like.
Yeah,
It's never need. That's what I always said. Like, if you go best fit or best need, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where you fuck up. That's where you like.
And his
obviously
combine
gonna
blew me
have an
away.
issue.
I mean, he measured well in every single thing.
I think he tested best out of all the edges.
Yeah, and his RAS score was like a 9.73, which like ranks as like
so
one of the
many guys
highest
were at
ever.
9.5.
Yeah, like, that's
like
insane.
these athletes these days are insane. They got to change that scoring up now at this point.
Yeah, somebody's gonna end up getting a 10 out of 10 very shortly.
It's getting crazy. For us, I mean, we didn't have first round pick, so obviously like the hype wasn't there. I mean,
Well, at least that trade's done now, though.
You said, yeah, all the pieces of that trade are done. But it's nice, I think, like just getting players that are part of winning pedigrees. I feel like our best case scenario on day 2. So again, like between Michael Hall and Zach Zentner, I like Zach Zentner more because we did need an interior offensive line. I thought we were going to go tackle. I wanted Kingsley bad. He went to the Chiefs. I want him bad.
It's so annoying that the Chiefs got him.
I want him bad, dude. I kept saying, I was like, we need to go.
He gonna fuck around and steal Jawan Taylor's job.
And of course, about like 7-8 picks later, he goes to the Chiefs. I was like, so it's very frustrating, obviously, because we do need a tackle because Wills has been very underwhelming with his health, even with his pass protection. It hasn't been great. But I like Zach Zentner.
He's from Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan.
Yeah.
So like he could play obviously guard or center. He's interior, so he could play guard or center, which we do have contracts coming up, so I understand that part. I wouldn't mind going Kingsley and Zentner. Like that's what I really wanted. But they realized last year that we do need a really, really good defensive tackle to maximize JOK because JOK.
Where was Hall from? Was he
Ohio State?
Ohio State.
JOK's first year started, he was getting pushed. Like I want to say it was. Taven Bryan, I think, defensive tackle, former first-round pick.
Yes.
He was getting pushed back into the second level.
Yeah.
Taven Bryan absolutely getting mauled.
Taven Bryan has been bad his whole career.
Yeah, so he was absolutely getting mauled. I was like, you can't with a small linebacker like JOK. He can't beat that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's 200-300 pounders.
You need somebody to hold those gaps open.
Yeah. So it was nice getting a huge guy like that. But for other teams, like from a fantasy perspective,
shout out JJ McCarthy.
Man, I mean JJ McCarthy landed in a perfect spot. I'm a big fan of Ben Sinnott. I've been on him since.
And he's literally got nowhere. And he's literally his only comp is Zach Ertz.
Yeah. And the last guy that had comp for Zach Ertz was Trey McBride. He had way less draft capital invested in him than Ben Sinnott. Ben Sinnott went the second round. He went over Jatavion Sanders, but some people were shocked. I wasn't that high on Jatavion Sanders. Obviously, he lands in a perfect spot too with the Panthers.
No competition.
Panthers have no competition really. For the defensive side of the ball, though, man, that Brandon Fisk to L.A. Brandon Fisk and Jared Verse.
Yeah, Brandon Fisk and you get Jared Verse back to
Florida
back.
State, like teammates, dude, they were like very, very happy.
And their D line was getting weak. Obviously, losing Aaron Donald, you're basically losing 3 defensive linemen. So replacing him with 2 young guys like that.
He tested insane.
He moved up very, very high because of his combine.
I don't know if you've seen it, but it said that Jared Verse was supposed to call Brandon Fisk to take him. But he got stuck in traffic. That was sad that he got stuck. I mean, like, that'd have been crazy. Like, imagine getting a call from your boy, and then they're like crying on the phone and shit. I'm like, damn, they must be real, real close.
Yeah.
And that's when you in a good spot right there, obviously. Like, you know what I'm saying? You with your boy, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all both probably are going to be starters. I assume that Fisk is a day 1 starter for them. And you know what I'm saying? It's hard to imagine that Aaron Donald still won't be around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can still see him being around enough to at least help out. You know what I'm saying? Not no like, oh, he a coach, but you know what I'm saying, just to be there, you know, that's huge for these guys. For you, Damon, you were live during the draft. First round, 8th overall, Michael Penix. Like, what can we say?
You were shaking it?
That's an insane pick out of them, bro. Now, if you was gonna go quarterback, right? If you was gonna make that decision, at least go with J.J. McCarthy. He's like, what, 21, 22? At least go him. You got a 24-year-old that's finna sit for how, unless Kirk Cousins just shits the bed, and even then you paying $100 million for a backup.
Well, like, I saw something where because of his guaranteed money, like, they can get out for only like $12 million if Kirk Cousins after 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I've seen. The best case scenario is 2 years. Michael Penix comes in at 26, which still is not horrible. It's not horrible.
Yeah, like I mean, it's not what you want to see. Yeah, so it's not what you want to see from your 8th overall pick. But 26 is better than 28.
Yes, very, very, very much so.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they went there. I thought he was gonna go defense, but I mean,
Well,
We were sure. Me and Damien were sure they were going Latu.
Yeah. I thought for sure when I put the money on, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get my money early.
Yeah, we were sure.
They go Michael Penix.
Yeah, I didn't like that, but then I saw some. They tried to trade back into the first round because they wanted a defensive player.
Yeah, they want a Latu.
Yeah.
That was like, you should have just took him.
Yeah, it's so stupid because and then they traded, and then the second round they traded up, and then they took a defensive tackle that I've never heard of.
Yeah, like I don't want to speak for somebody like I don't.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
if
him.
he's good or not.
Yeah,
He could be a standout or nothing. But it's like there were better defensive players on the board, and a lot of people had the same reaction. Like, here we go again with the Falcons.
And then the Falcons come out and say that they wanted a corner, but they didn't want to force it. But you forced a quarterback.
That's what I'm saying.
Cooper DeJean was up there when you traded up.
Gun to your head, name 5 defensive players for the Falcons.
You can't.
Say Jesse Bates. You gonna say Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell?
Yeah, Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell. No, I got this.
Grady Jarrett still there?
No, I don't think so.
He gotta be.
Maybe.
He has to be. Where else would he be? That's all. Where else would he be?
Deion Jones is gone. Don't say him. Desmond Trufant been gone.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
Desmond Trufant been gone.
I actually can't name 5 defensive players for him.
He got us to be there, right?
Oh no, Troy Anderson. Let's go. Man.
Yeah, he's still there. Should he be? No.
Richie Grant. Okay, wait, I'm cooking.
You cooking?
Is Jeff Okuda still there?
I think he still technically is there.
I need one more.
That is their
Jeff
cornerback
Okuda too easy.
Bro, don't force it. Don't force it.
You know what I'm saying? It take like one.
Who that
player
pass
on
rush from
defense,
Auburn?
bro.
I don't know.
But it does get crazy on the defensive side of the ball. Only way I do see this is different is because they have a defensive coach coming in, so maybe he can maximize the defensive player that have not been great.
Raheem Morris was really good for LA.
He was great. He was great for LA, but that's why I thought they would probably go a defensive player. You bring in a defensive coach, you probably draft at least a defensive guy. That's why I was like, when I remember the Texans being on the clock, and I'm like, they're gonna take Will Anderson. They take C.J. Stroud, and then they trade up again
and
to get Will Anderson, which was crazy shit I ever seen. And it's like you have to at least sport your defensive coach.
And it's so funny because everybody was like, "Oh man, they traded up all that capital, and the Texans would be horrible," and that shit was like a 29th pick.
Yep. Crazy to think about, and they bet on themselves. They traded their pick, not ours, and they ended up beating us in the playoffs. So that automatically ensured that pick was not going to be too high. For other teams, I know we had our favorite prospects. Damian, you're a Adonai Mitchell guy. How you feel about him falling to the Colts?
I think he fell way too far.
Way too low. Pick 52. So.
Yeah. I don't think he should have got there. I thought for sure he was gonna be a top 40 pick after he fell out first.
I thought he was.
The Colts. I mean, I think it's a good landing spot.
Yeah.
You go to a team with an offensive guy. Really no secure wide receiver too. Josh Downs is not a wide receiver too.
Yep.
Alec Pierce has been underwhelming for them.
Yeah.
He'll have a chance to play right away. And we'll see. The only question mark really is Anthony Richardson and coming back from the shoulder injury. How does it look?
Yeah, I just don't see him being a high volume offense, like for passing wise. I can see them being at most maybe like 40, 60. You know what I'm saying? At most.
I think he'll have to do the most with his like 6 targets a game.
Yeah.
Because Michael Pittman's still going to eat up probably.
Michael Pittman's going to eat about 8 or 9.
9, exactly.
Maybe even 10.
Exactly.
You know, it could be a year where he just goes crazy because that's the best player on their offense aside of, you know what I'm saying? And I say in the passing game because Jonathan Taylor, I feel like is still a very, very good player. But that Colts offense is looking insane. I'm sure a lot of people are happy with their draft because I'd say you get a value like that is.
Yeah, getting a Donnie Mitchell at 52 is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Another value that I did like, obviously, I mean, Cooper DeJean falling. I mean, like I say, like once they said it, like, well, I leave Unum as a safety, so I figured he was.
I thought for sure he was a fucking Bill, man.
I thought the Bills were either him or Donnie, and then they don't go him. Him going to the Eagles was huge, and obviously,
is it though? Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean.
Yeah,
we doing 2 white safeties.
Yeah, but they said he's playing nickel most likely. They're saying nickel corner.
Holy shit,
so.
CeeDee Lamb is about to kill him.
It should be interesting. He got some ways to start sharpen himself up. Obviously, going against AJ Brown in practice. Obviously, that didn't help for Darius Slay or fucking James Bradbury, but you know what I'm saying. Anything can happen there
for sure.
There were some other good picks. I'll go to you, Devon. Javon Baker. I was a huge fan of his. He's gonna be good. I think he's better. I think he's better than Polk, man. To be honest with you, I do like Javon.
He was good. He was at UCF, right?
Yeah, he's very good, and I liked what he said too. He said
big people in wheelchairs.
Big people just said I was like, oh, you went in the 4th round. You're not that good. y'all his dick. You can say whatever he want. He's in the NFL. No matter what. Like,
You got at the end of the day, you got drafted.
I thought Polk was like more of a third, fourth round talent.
I thought McMillan would have went before Polk.
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm not.
He a contested catch guy though, so I mean that does help.
And you needed that because you lost Devontae Parker. So.
And he tested good, so you know what I'm saying? Devontae Parker, AFC East Devontae Parker.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, my fault. I'm mad the Jets got Malachi Corley.
Oh my God! Right?
I like Malachi Corley.
I love
a
Malachi
lot.
Corley. I think I mentioned on the podcast before. Like that's one of the guys that like if he goes in a good situation, I'll be taking.
I'm very mad. I mean, it's not the best situation to land in, I guess, because Aaron Rodgers is probably there for maybe one more year or two.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't love him there. So
but just because we don't know what the quarterback situation is in the future, but I thought that was a really good pick for the Jets.
I thought he was a Steeler. I was like convinced like Malachi Corley looks like a Steeler. I don't know why.
I can even see him starting right away. I just don't see Mike Williams getting the snaps like that. Like I know they signed him or whatever. Yeah. I think he's gonna be very situational for them. Like I don't see him running the routes every single play.
Can we talk about the Virtuosos quarterback room in Denver? Like, it's getting crazy in there.
Okay, but which one of us is which?
I'm Bo Nix.
I'm Bo Nix.
You're Bo Nix.
Zach Wilson and Jarrett Stidham.
I'll be Zach Wilson. I mean, shit. I like Mill City.
I think you like moms. Let's go.
Shit. I wanted to talk about this with Javon Baker though. It said 81% of his catches went for a first down or a touchdown.
Yeah, it's insane.
Absolutely, he can say he can make people wheelchair stand up.
Chain mover.
That is legit playmaker, no matter what. And that's what
I don't care where you play
Patriots
that,
are
that
like.
rate.
Yeah, I don't care where you went. You're good. But yeah, like you said, the Broncos quarterback room. Now, I was not high on Bo Nix, but I'm a firm believer is like if you like somebody and like that's your guy, you just take him. Who cares? Who cares what anybody else thinks? I'm assuming that he takes the first snap of the season. He's older. He played 5 seasons in college. He has, I think they said the most. I think he has like the second most passing yards ever. In college.
The only one ahead of him was like Drew Brees.
Yeah. So I'm like, obviously you want the idea to be well, you know, we take our guy, we get our 5 years out of him. You know what I'm saying? Worst case scenario is that we do a thing where if he is not good, Jarrett Stidham is there.
Right.
If he's not good, Zach Wilson is there. If he is not good, then we're fucked. Then we'll probably be losing, you know, first round capital. We're losing our coach. You probably gonna, you know what I'm saying? GMs their jobs are at stake with a Bo Nix pick like that. I feel like
my biggest gripe with it, I don't even care about them taking Bo Nix realistically. They needed a quarterback.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you were forced. Your hand was forced. Penix went too early, and this and that. I don't like how Sean Payton acted the next day.
Yeah.
To come out in the press conference and be like, "Oh, well, we bluffed the Vikings into trading up for JJ." No, you didn't, you idiot. No. They were always going to do that.
They always were taking JJ.
Like, what are you talking about? You bluffed them in the trade. They traded a 1 pick, and you were still behind them.
Yeah.
So what are you saying that for?
They could have took Bo Nix. You'd have took JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I was like, that is the dumbest thing I ever heard. Like, I didn't like how Sean Payton acted at all about it.
I think they could have traded back and still got Bo Nix.
Absolutely. They could have definitely got
I thought they were going to.
They could have definitely traded back and got some capital. But I will say that every pick they took after the first round, I loved. They had a very good draft. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I liked
the Broncos killed it. I was very shocked.
I like Jonah Ellis, the pass rusher from Utah. He had a very good last season. To get him in the third round was nice. I like the Chris Abrams drain from I think Missouri or Arkansas. It was one of those yellow schools. Troy Franklin getting that max, you know, in the fourth round with Bo Nix.
I expect him to go in the fourth round. Like I said, I wasn't high on Troy Franklin. I never was. I always thought he was like a very situational player. He needs to go to a perfect situation. This is not a perfect situation, but targets are available.
Exactly.
You only get better by getting targets. You only get better by getting reps.
And he's going to go into a place right now where he can immediately start playing. I mean, realistically, like, who's starting over him? Cortland Sutton?
It's just Cortland Sutton and then Marvin Mims. Those are only two.
That means he'll at least be a top 3 wide receiver on that. Or they did get Josh Reynolds. Well, maybe he'll have to play. He'll have to try a little bit, right?
So I guess you can make an argument that it's not a great landing spot because they did pay Josh Reynolds.
But maybe if Cortland Sutton gets traded,
moved, I do expect Cortland Sutton to get moved. I mean, if they don't, it's like, what are we doing here? What do I see in Cortland Sutton? I don't see, but. Also, I'm looking through some of these. Obviously, ESPN, we're talking about some guys.
I know I did say my favorite draft was the Steelers.
You mentioned, I think, Steelers and
Steelers,
Commanders?
and I think I said Commanders.
Bro, did y'all see the news today on Justin Fields? They talking about him returning kicks.
Nah.
Nigga
You
is
see
not
that?
going out like that.
Jalen Warren
man.
talked about. He said the coach. He said our offensive coordinator or special teams coordinator was saying that Justin Fields could potentially return kicks with the new rules. I was like, if you want to kill a guy that bad, hey, listen, this is my thing. Whatever Justin Fields in his past life should not be affecting him this bad. It ain't no
He
way.
might have the worst karma
yo,
of any quarterback.
He had the worst, like, for the last week. Like, literally to the day, he had the worst week possible. He just watched his former team take a quarterback at 1 and then take a top 3 wide receiver prospect in the top 10 and without question. They sprinted to the podium to take Rome Odunze. Didn't think that shit took him, but you have DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Keenan Allen. Cole Kmet's still respectable. DeAndre Swift is still respectable at the running back position. Justin Fields had Khalil Herbert, Darnell Mooney,
Roshan
Robert Tonyan get signed. I mean, the worst of, like, not saying the worst of the worst, but like the
Damn
worst
near.
effort possible from
Damn near.
a front office. That's how I look at it. So when I see stuff like that, it's like, damn, like what, like he may not have been great, but you didn't make him. You didn't
put
his
nearly the
situation
effort
better.
into. You waited till his last year and then got him DJ Moore, but then did nothing else besides DJ Moore.
And the only reason I took him because the motherfuckers you robbed him.
Yeah,
I don't think
seriously.
I would have got him if y'all couldn't rob somebody. For
They
him.
went on a run too at the end of the season. They won like 6 of their last like 8 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
They did
They
pretty
finished
good.
really good that season.
And once Justin Fields came back, they were like really like I think they only lost to us and I want to say the Lions, and they also split with the Lions too. It wasn't like the Lions just routed them up. They beat the Lions too. Also, the Patriots finally got that tight end running back hybrid player that they've been wanting since Jonnu Smith, Jaheim Bell. Definitely way more potential than being a 231st pick. I mean, I think he can be good. I think he's in a perfect spot to be good. I don't see much competition, obviously.
Other than Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry, like
Oh, whoa, Austin Hooper. Come on, don't disrespect
My
Austin
fault,
Hooper.
my
no.
fault.
He a Hooper.
Brown legend.
my fault. Brown's legend right there. Jaheim Bell is definitely in a spot where he might be returning kicks too. Shit, like shit. He's an athlete.
Get him out there.
As
Malik
athletic
Cunningham,
as-
like, oh, I forgot we got rid of him. Damn.
Yeah, I did get rid of Malik Cunningham.
Malik. Oh, I mean, we
But,
got Joe Milton though. He got 90
That
yards.
You
QB
can do a
competition
backflip.
gonna be
You know,
crazy.
it's gonna be crazy. Then you got Bailey Zapp, bro. Jacoby Brissett. Like,
Bailey
just
Zappi
got-
is out of a job,
we
bro.
got mad, bro. We got mad competition this summer, man. That's what I'm saying. Going
Drake
hard.
May not a guaranteed starter.
We're gonna go undefeated in the preseason and then lose the first like 5 games. It's gonna make me feel
But
some
then
type of way.
you look at it like we 4 and 5
about
out
it.
of a larger sample size.
Like, you know what I'm
We-
saying?
we
Like,
4
come
and 5.
on.
But last but not least, with the draft segment, what any other picks that surprised you? I don't think besides Penix, really, I was too surprised by
Yeah,
anybody. I guess Bowers to Raiders surprised people, but
I know we kind of already talked about the Colts. I don't think Latu should have went that late. Getting him at 14 is
Crazy.
pretty insane.
I didn't think the
Crazy.
first 12 players would have been all 13, whatever would have
to
been
the
all
offense,
offense.
right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, once Bo Nix, I'm like, all right, I just want the record. Yo, get the record. Like,
Yeah, that was pretty annoying. I forgot where Dallas Turner slipped a little bit further than I thought
He
he
went to
should
the
would have.
Vikings, yeah.
Damn,
He
they
was fake
did
rapping
get
to
him.
himself and shit. That was
Yeah, that's
pretty-
kind
that
of sickening
That was
actually.
pretty cringy. He was. I'm like, yo, you've been doing that since like the 8th pick, bro. Like, what song are you still singing?
You got that shit on repeat.
Definitely was definitely giving me weird vibes. Now I don't know, like character issues kind of thing, but nothing too crazy in the first round. Even day 2, like I said, we talked about Donnie Mitchell sliding, but you know, a lot of people.
They
it's
said
like
it
a
was
very
something
predictable
about
draft.
his character, like
Donnie
something like
Mitchell?
that. And
Yeah,
that
the
health.
GM
guy-
got
The
pissed.
GM got
Like,
mad
Chris
at us.
Butler,
Said like,
I
yeah, I
think
don't want to hear none of that. He was like, he's a good kid.
Nah.
He's like, I met him plenty of times.
He was not happy. He was
Yeah.
not. He said anonymous. Like, put your name on it.
Yeah.
Don't go around saying
And spread misinformation
somebody is
about these
bad.
kids,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Then you fuck them up over with other teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I didn't like this answer compared to when I did ask it. But that'll wrap it up for the draft stuff. I mean, obviously we get more clarity close to preseason and whatnot. Yeah, mini camp.
Extend Tua already.
Can't wait till minicamp,
It's
man.
coming, man. It's coming. A lot of extensions should be coming, obviously, in the next month. Obviously, we don't got too much coming in May, but most likely just extensions for like the wide receivers, quarterbacks, and whatnot. Nothing too crazy, I'm expecting. And for our final segment, we're gonna talk about the only playoff matchup that's confirmed right now, for the second round, Nuggets and Timberwolves. How we feeling about Nuggets Timberwolves in general?
I think that the winner of that series going to the finals, man.
I agree.
I ain't gonna lie, the Timberwolves fucking killed the Suns. I couldn't believe I thought the Suns was gonna win. Them motherfuckers dominated them. Like, Gobert's playing defense on the perimeter. Like, how's Gobert keeping up with Bradley Beal? Like,
Bradley Beal is also a terrorist.
Like everything that could go right for them was going right for them.
That shit is crazy, man. I definitely think that series is going to 7 though. I mean, I know Chris Finch like may or may not coach. I guess I got to see how that works. You know, I don't know the assistant. Like, I don't know.
Was he thinking like surgery or something?
He's trying to like see his options as to like if he needs to or not. I mean, if Chris Finch ain't coaching, like I don't know, like that might be a big impact. It might not.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm like really feeling like impact. Like, I mean, obviously I know he's traveling with them, but like, damn.
Like, how did your coach get a fucking patella injury? That's insane. Like,
going too hard.
Insane. But I definitely think it's going to 7. Yeah, I say the winner of this is going to the finals, man. Both of those teams are playing excellent. I know the Nuggets were trailing a lot of that Lakers series, but it doesn't matter how long you're trailing, as long as you close games out. Yeah, it's all that matters. You got Jamal Murray
is the clutchest player ever.
Jamal Murray, I don't think Jamal Murray hasn't missed in the fourth quarter in like 2 years. So, and then the home court advantage the Nuggets have is like motherfuckers can't beat them in Denver. So
I can see it going to I think it'd go to 6. I don't know if I say 7. The Timberwolves really would need to steal one in Denver.
I'm a big fan though of everything that the Timberwolves did in that first round.
Yeah, I mean, from it was straight domination,
defense to even their ability to close out games. I mean, that last game where like the Suns gotta take one. Everybody think like the Suns have to take one. Like Booker's playing out of his mind, KD's playing out of his mind, Beal, and you know what I'm saying. You got everything going your way, and then like Anthony Edwards closes out with a fucking poster on KD. It's like,
damn,
like it's like he's next up. Like at this point, I have nothing else to say besides he's next up. He's like the next superstar of the league. He's got that playoff win now. Like he swept KD. Like, you know what I'm saying, he swept KD like somebody you grew up watching. You swept Devin Booker, who was probably slotted as a better shoot guard than you. Now those conversations are closed. You know what I'm saying? You are who you are now, which is, you know, a very likable, very marketable player in the NBA.
How many East series is left? You got the Pacers,
I think everybody besides Celtics. I think.
Oh yeah, everybody already made it except for the Knicks, Sixers, the last one.
Everything is 3-2. Cavs 3-2, Knicks 3-2, and Pacers 3-2.
I believe the Mavericks is gonna win, so I'm assuming.
Me too.
Mavericks and Thunder next.
Paul George is so weird.
That's gonna be a great ass series.
Yeah, I had a lot of doubts for the Clippers coming into the playoffs. I mean, if the playoffs started in February, then it'd be a different story. They were rolling in February. Then they started PJ Tucker, and then shit just went south. I don't know what happened to the Clippers. Obviously, outside looking in, never was a fan of James Harden pickup. Just didn't think it made too much sense for them.
The only reason I give him credit for that is because we knew Kawhi was going to sit out.
Yeah,
Paul George need help. Because if James Harden wasn't here, it'd have been looking crazy for Paul George now because he's inconsistent. It would have been just him. But now James Harden is being inconsistent. Westbrook is like 4 for 50 in his last like 55 shots. That shit is insane. I don't see a way they beat the Mavericks, man. I'll be honest.
Yeah. But it's just like, what do you even do with Kawhi for the Clippers? Because he load manages, he misses time. He doesn't load manage, he misses time.
Yeah.
That motherfucker's retiring.
He missed time in the regular season.
That's what I was.
You missed time. You missed time in the playoffs.
I mean, if Paul George leave, I see him retiring.
He needs to. He doesn't have anything else to prove. You got your ring. You got your rings. You got your stuff.
They're fucked. If he's gonna retire, Paul George is on his way out. That's one of my main reasons I was on the Clippers. I was like, fuck Kawhi's health. Paul George is 1 foot out the door. It's the Sixers or the Magic to me. Those are the only 2 teams I can see him going to at this point in time. Obviously, we could find a you know what I'm saying, like a team through the grapevine, maybe return to Indy. We never really don't know. Obviously, anything can happen. Maybe return to Thunder. We don't know. The point is, he's 1 foot out the door. If you got one guy 1 foot out the door, same reason why I picked the Magic. Donovan Mitchell was 2 feet out the door. That motherfucker already said a year and a half ago he wasn't resigning. And then he doubled down and said, "I'm not resigning with the
Magic
Cleveland."
was competent right now, man. Them motherfuckers. Oh my God.
Talk about selling a fucking game.
Yo, that shit is sad, man.
I cannot believe if I had 39 points, you know what I'm saying, I'm wide open off the pick and roll or pick and pop or whatever, and I don't get the ball there. That changes the series. That changes the series. I have to get if I'm Paulo, I have to get the last shot. I can't believe he didn't get the last shot. I don't understand how you don't give him the last shot. That's your best player. He's cooking that game. It's not like a situation where, let's say, like Clippers down 3, Paul George struggling. He's like 4 for 13 or some shit. And it's like, all right, well, let's look for other options. Somebody else is hot. You look like 39 points. There's no other person I want the ball in his hands besides Paolo.
I'm canceling the play.
Not saying Fran's not a talented player because he played great in game 4. I want to say, but that's not your fucking spot to go up on Evan fucking Mobley. And then one thing about Evan Mobley is like, it's not like he had like just that play. He dunked on. I want to say. I think he dunked on France. I think he dunked on France. I think
one of them.
He dunked on one of them, and then he had another dump off pass to put him up 2. So I'm like. I mean, he don't dunk on nobody. That's not his game. So it's like you going at somebody. You got on somebody that's ready. He as ready as fucking possible. And that's what you do. I thought that was very, very boneheaded from France. Obviously, it's a young team, young coach. They're gonna get over stuff like that. Bringing in somebody like a Paul George obviously can help, but I do think they need just shooters in general, and they'll be fine. Mm-hmm. You know, hats off to the guys like Cole Anthony, obviously, and, Jalen Suggs, but. You're not beating nobody, realistically. I mean, Jalen Suggs did have his big game in the series, but you're begging him to do that. 3, 4, maybe even 5 games.
Like, go compete with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Go ahead. I need you out there. Gary Harris not doing shit. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't have any shooting. I mean, I have them in the bracket challenges right now. I did have Orlando.
I did have them beating the Cavs,
but I also did have the Pacers winning. So hopefully they close out tonight. Unfortunately, I did pick the Suns.
I did pick the Suns, man, but I'll take a Timberwolves and Nuggets. I'll be honest.
I love that series. I love that.
I do, and I think Mavericks and Thunder, just Clippers. I'm running y'all off. I ain't gonna cap. I'm running y'all off. I think Mavericks and Thunder is gonna be a good ass series too. But
yeah, I can see that being good.
Yeah, man.
My 2 MVP candidates, really.
Nah, I want Dort. I want Dort to keep that same energy. You know what I'm saying? You want to lock a black man up. Go lock Luka.
If you're really that good, right?
Yeah, all that hand checking. You 6'4" and you fucking bench 300 pounds. I guess you know what I mean. Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up.
You know, German people are different, bro.
Oh.
But for you, Damian, obviously you got. You know what I'm saying? Your team is in semis. Assuming that. You're either playing. Obviously, I would assume that you would want the Clippers without Kawhi.
Yeah,
but
I mean that'd be cool if it went to Game 7 and we got the Clippers.
Yeah,
it'd be the easier route.
Yeah,
I always want the easy route.
I prefer it, but I mean we still match up well with the Mavs. I mean at the end of the day, you can only do so much to contain somebody like Luka. He's gonna get his regardless. Once again, kind of like the same thing. It's every round. It's just. We're never going to be physical enough to deal with these guys. I mean, even like Jonas Valanciunas was giving us buckets that whole series. That should never happen. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that's always a bad look. We just don't have nobody big down there. Like Chet is only going to do so much. He could play defense and all he wants, but he's not going to get down there and grab rebounds like that. Do averages like 7 rebounds a game.
Yeah, he's literally averages 8 rebounds. Yeah, so, I just literally just pulled it up.
Yeah, so it's like
I didn't think that was a real stat. That's why I clicked on it. Like, are you sure he averages 7?
And now when you got when you got PJ Washington and you got Gafford and stuff like that playing for the Mavs, I mean that gives them a little more physicality in their front court.
But he averages 3 blocks. So, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like the defense is still there.
He's gonna get some good stops.
Yeah, he definitely still has the ability. Like I said, like the defense is still there, and it really just Jalen Williams needs to keep playing well. SGA is gonna do what he has to do every game, but we do need another guy to step up. And Jalen Williams had a very good series against the Pelicans.
Yeah.
So and not the why Jalen, the real Jalen.
He also did too.
But no,
he hit some good shots.
He's getting a lot more playing time.
J.A.Y. He also did some good shit.
He played better defense on Jonas than Chet, in my opinion. Like, he came in, we had to sub that motherfucker Jonas out. Like
he's just more physical.
Yeah, he was hitting some clutch threes, man.
He was.
Yeah, I feel like we're in a good spot right now. Like I said, it's just. Dort's got his hands full, man. It's gonna get crazy because he's gonna have to check.
Dort got his hands full for sure.
Yeah. Full of jersey tattoos and skin.
He loves some Trey Murphy.
he lock Brandon Ingram. I need to see him do that against Kyrie and Luka. Let's see it.
Some surprising things about the playoffs. Josh Hart is averaging 12 rebounds.
I'm not surprised, bro. I was watching that game the other day. I was
fourth leading rebounder.
I was watching game 4. And, bro, I swear, every single time the Knicks missed a shot, Josh Hart was under the rim. grabbing offensive rebound.
Bruh.
Why are you acting like that?
I was at work and they was like, yo, they need to put Josh Hart on Tyrese Maxey. I'm like, who the fuck gonna grab rebounds in? Like,
Yeah,
like,
literally,
grab
bro.
rebounds in? Like, he on the perimeter guarding him. Like,
Nah, bro. I was like, Josh Hart hustle is outrageous. He is after every loose ball. That ball comes out the rim, he just tracks it. Every single time, man.
I miss Josh Hart.
And it's insane.
Man.
Like, this is crazy. Top 5 playoff point leaders. Brunson 34.4, Tyrese Maxey 32.4, Damian Lillard 32.3, and Joel Embiid 31.8. Philadelphia 76ers have 2 players in that top 5, and they're down their series. That makes no sense. This is as we need one more guy. Obviously, you want another guy, but we knew they would lack. Obviously, outside these two, like that's been their big thing.
Yeah,
like,
Kelly Oubre is not doing nothing for them, bro.
Yeah, I'm assuming he takes off soon. Maybe tonight.
The Knicks gonna be tough next year with Brandon Ingram. I ain't gonna lie, man.
Fuck out of here,
Yo,
dude.
him,
It beat.
Brunson, OG, Ingram, and Randall. Yo, they gonna
Y'all
get
get
crazy.
Randall if we give me.
Hell no, we don't need,
No.
no.
If we're getting Brandon Ingram, y'all get Randall.
We don't need 2
Yeah,
left-handed.
Randall and Zion.
No,
That's
gotta work.
Body to body contact.
He's
You
home.
don't need that.
Dude, it's Randall. He's home.
You don't need that.
Randall and Zion front court would be crazy.
I love that.
Even Ennis
I
Cantor
love that.
compared them. They said they play the same. Like, I didn't know that.
That's not Ennis Cantor, that's Ennis Freedom.
Oh, you right. I didn't know that. I mean,
But yeah, we're also to round out top 5 was Anthony Edwards at 31, who played out his mind, obviously.
I
But
want
it's
the
crazy to
Timberwolves
see that
in the conference finals so bad.
Dude, I
sick of
love
that.
the matchups if the Mavericks win. Like the West matchups are perfect to me. That's literally all I could possibly ask for. Like
I was
feel like
talking-
those are obviously the 4 best teams.
I was talking to this regular at the bar the other day. He was talking crazy about Anthony Edwards, like how good he is. I was like, you know, he's not better than SGA yet, right? He's like, who the hell is SGA? I was like, you clearly don't watch basketball. Then he was like, bro, he's like Anthony Edwards up next. He's like SGA will be
With
okay.
the most aura in the
Yeah. He's like SGA will be okay. I was like, SGA is older than Anthony Edwards. Like, what do you mean he'll be okay? Like, what are you talking about, bro?
nah, that'd be
He
a
probably
fire
good in a
ass
couple years,
series.
but literally MVP.
Like,
He's literally won MVP in 2 weeks, bro.
Like, what are you talking about? Nah, that'd be a crazy.
Timberwolves and Thunder would be a good ass series.
Hell
All
yeah.
them, I was like all
No,
the possibilities out of
every
those.
possibility, like a Jules
It's
said,
so
is right.
good.
Every
Like,
possibility in the
with
West.
the East, obviously, like we.
I'm not gonna lie, the
Cast
Knicks
like
need to win
Celtics
to
fans
have a
would.
good matchup for the second round.
Yeah, we do need to win.
I
We
think
played tonight.
Embiid won't try to win. That motherfucker is tired. He limping every play.
Half his face is frozen.
Damn.
Losing that game. Obviously, we were watching Challenge at that time, but I had to go on my phone. I checked my phone a lot during the movie because I'm trying to watch the score. I see we're 102-97 in overtime. I'm like, all right, we're good. Like we're up overtime. I'm saying we shouldn't be overtime because I see it was 96-90. But
Bleacher Report jinxed you so bad. It was like Miles McBride hits the jumper to put them up 6. Like that's game over. Knicks win. And then dude quote retweeted after the game was like the Knicks did not win.
insane, dude. I couldn't believe it. Then I seen the shots that Tyrese Maxey hit, and I'm just like, all right, everything makes sense.
Yeah.
These are the games that we always fucking lose, and that's why I said from like the game 2, we followed to get a win. Obviously, as people were saying, we don't win games like that. We just don't. Like those are 50-50 games for us. It's either, you know what I'm saying, it's literally flip a coin. But seeing us take certain games from them now that we weren't winning last year, we had to grind out to get like even just 2 games from the Heat. I think we went to 6 with the Heat. It's a whole different team. Obviously, it's a whole different level from Brunson. Obviously, like the lack of Randall helps him get more shots, but it's just crazy to see this team is playing as good.
He's playing out. He's probably having the best playoff performance right now.
Yeah, but if we lose, then
What does it matter?
what does it all mean?
You seen this report by not Monty Mon 23? It says Jalen Brunson for CJ McCollum swap could be in the summer.
I'll be damned.
CJ
That'd be
who?
tough.
I remember when Jalen Brunson was overpaid. I remember that.
CJ McCollum shouldn't even have a last name anymore.
Bro, McCollum and Ingram, bro.
His
Oh.
name
That's my
just-
favorite duo.
Especially in game 1 and game 4, I'm like, yo, these motherfuckers, the Thunder do not want to win. Like, they clearly want to extend this series. These niggas is shit in the bed, man.
The fact y'all couldn't take one game away, like it
damn.
literally was just like it's more talent on the other side at that point. Like that's all it was to me. Like, damn, if they had this one different.
I'm like,
player
we
in
going.
this
It's
spot.
like 6 minutes, both teams not scoring. I'm like, yo, if only it was a motherfucker that just spam left hand layups right now. They could just get right to the hoop, make a left hand layup. Like we don't have that. Brandon Ingram was in fucking prison. Like in prison, son. That shit.
It really is unfortunate to watch your team like just crumble in the playoffs. Like obviously, like you're still playing the first seed. It's like all right, like I don't expect us to win, but like we can steal a game or two. Anything can happen if one thing go.
I don't think we scored more than 100 points in the playoffs. We scored 92.
No, y'all did it. Y'all did it.
We scored.
No, y'all did it. Y'all did it, bro. Y'all did it.
89, 87, I think. I don't even think we hit over 95 points. Like,
don't be sad because realistically the Knicks should be hitting 100 points either. we are just barely getting by.
That shit is awful.
They averaging 103 points a game.
Like I think we dead ass average like 103 like points per game.
It's cool, man. Changes is coming. You know, Trae Young and Zion are gonna team up. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool. You know, it's cool. I guess.
Zion going to the
just saying names, man.
Zion
I got
Grizzlies,
to,
bro.
bro.
I feel you though. It'd be like that.
We going to the Grizzlies then.
But that wraps it up for us. New studio. Like I said, we're blessed to be here. Very happy. Shout out to you, Moranto, for obviously putting us first. You know what I'm saying? That you didn't have to do obviously what you did, but for us, I mean, it means a lot. Really, I appreciate this. But for us, that's about it. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add.
First one in the books.
First one in the books of many. We'll see you guys next week.
Hey.